Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Kurt, aka the Vitruvian Gamer, and this is my Designer Diary episode 3. In the previous 2 episodes I talked about futsal, a deck building game about indoor soccer with a board in which players try to beat each other in a game of indoor soccer. That game had some good ideas, but the practical things about it really were quite kind of hard. So I've done some playtesting, tried the cards, tried the passing and the dribbling, the defending, and things did not work well. So that was a problem. I'm still having so many problems with that game because in soccer and probably most sports there is this natural flow, things go fast, there's movement everywhere, and there is this big problem of simulating that in a game with cards and a board. So I have put it aside a little bit. I keep thinking about it. I'm trying to solve that problem. I think the most difficult part of it was to find some way to have attacking versus defending with the same cards, actually, because we had a common draw pile, without missing the flow of the game, and that was really hard, and well, it did not work. So if you have any ideas about that, if you haven't seen the previous videos, please go watch them, and maybe you have this brilliant idea about how I should do it. But for now I'm working on 2 other games at this moment. One is called Kissy Cat. It's a game I've also already a prototype for, which I'm adapting already after a few play tests. It's a light family game with some nice ideas, I think so, in my opinion. I will talk about that later if you like. I probably will anyway. But this time I'm going to talk about another game I'm doing, and this game is called Safari, or Photo Safari, or something like that. And in this game, players are these amateur photographers, yeah, who are on this safari. It's a contest in which they are trying to take the best pictures of the different animals in the safari park, and they also want to get back into base camp first to have to score some bonus points. And well, I will show you how it works. I have my first prototype, let's call it version 0.1 or something like that. I have it here on the table. Mind you, it's on a blackboard with pencil written on it, so it might not be all too clear on camera or on screen. I didn't have the right material here. The cards I use are just plain paper, not even sleeved, because I'm completely out of sleeves. I've ordered more of them so I can make it a little bit better or a little bit more presentable, but bear for me for now. And I will try to show you this game as good as I can. So join me at the table and I will show you the base idea of Safari. Okay, so this is the main board of Safari. Well, a part of it, because the camera has to be higher. So in this game, as I already said, players in their jeeps, well, which are just pieces of another game which you might recognize, try to travel through the lands of this savanna on this safari all the way around, and they are trying to get at the end or back at base camp first. And you might notice it's not very clear. If you get here first, if you enter your game here, you get 10 bonus points, and it goes to 9, 8, 7, and all the way to 1 bonus point or 0 bonus points if you are way behind. Okay, so that's the idea of the race. And as you can see, in the middle we have these 6 spaces, each one with a pile of tokens on them, and they all have their animals on it. I forgot to say, this prototype version 0.1 is all the way in Dutch, because that's my native language, and it's easier for me to playtest with people here if the prototype is in Dutch. Not all people speak English that well. Most of them do, but not all of them. So we have 6 different animals here, or places for animals. We have a place for elephant, cheetah, hippo, giraffe, lion, and baboons. And each have their stacks of points, and they go from 1 till 10. I wanted to have 6 different colors, but I have no 6 colors, so I have 2 piles of blue, but the ones are a little bit bigger than the others. Okay, but that's not that important. So, 6 animals. That means we have this draw pile here, this common draw pile, and it consists of cards with these different animals. There's also cards with your safari jeep, and there's cards with your trustworthy camera. So, what's the idea of these cards? Very simple. The jeep is used for movement. If you play a jeep card, you can move that many spaces. Some cards have just a number which you can move. Some have a range, like 2 to 4, so you can choose a number between that. Cameras you are going to use to take pictures, or to try to take pictures of the different animals in the safari. And you have all these animals. Animals are used to change the rules of their spaces, which is the main idea of this game. So what are these cards about? So these cards have their picture on it. I just took them off the internet for this prototype. Of course, when I will make a real prototype, I will try to find an artist. And they have this number in the right top going from 1 to I think 104 at this moment, and that's just an initiative number, because the idea is that every player in their turn plays one of their cards in their hand face down. As soon as everybody has chosen a card to play, they are revealed simultaneously, and the cards with the lowest number goes first, and then the second lowest, and so on and so on. We have also this symbol here of the camera. That means at this moment this creature or this animal is not hiding, so it's inside. You can take a picture of the animal, and not always like that. For example, with this hippo, this cannot be photographed, so probably this animal is at this moment underwater, so no picture cannot be taken of that animal. Then you have this bottom part where there's some text in Dutch. Sorry for that. This is a rule. So this is what happens when you land your movement, you end your movement on a space of a lion. And as you can see, these are the letters of lion, baboon, giraffe, cheetah. The N is for the hippo, because in Dutch it's a nijlpaard. And the O is for the elephant, because we call it an olifant. So that's the idea. So what are players going to do? They are going to have a hand of, I think, 4 cards. For example, let's say I have these 4 cards in my hand. So I only know which ones I have. And let's say we're already a little bit on the move. Let's say it's like this, for example. So we are on our way on the safari. And apparently, let's say I'm on a space here with a G. Well, in the future it should be a picture of a giraffe. So what can I do in my turn? So each player chooses 1 card from their hand, and I might, on this occasion, I might, because I'm on a space of a giraffe, I could play a giraffe card. So I place it face down, we all reveal, and we see who goes first. When it's my turn, I can place this giraffe on the giraffe spot on the board. And from now on, the rules of this card, of this giraffe card, will be active. As you can see, this is empty in this case. Why? Well, because I did not manage to find enough rules for this prototype yet. I will talk about that later for asking for your help with this. So, for example, I have one which allows you to, if you have your draw phase while on a space with a giraffe, you can draw an extra card and discard one of those two cards. So you have more choice which cards you want. So, for example, I play this card, and from now on, this new rule is active. There are all different kinds of rules in the game already. For example, this baboon, if that's active, this one, if someone comes ends their movement on a baboon spot, all players have to give one card out of their hand to the player left of them. So that could be right over here, for example. So that's one thing I can do when being on a giraffe spot. I can play a giraffe card from my hand to change the rules. As soon as I play a card which does not make me move, so if I play anything but a cheap card, anything but one of these, I automatically move one space ahead. And that's where my movement ends. So I'm at the elephant space now. So if there was an elephant card on top of the elephant stack, that card would activate. All right. So that's one thing I can do when on a giraffe spot. The next thing I can do when on a giraffe spot, in this example, is, let's say there are two of them here for this example, I can play in my turn, of course, I can choose as my card to take a photo card. So for example, I take this one, play it face down, each one chooses a card, we reveal, and as soon as my number is there to play, I can play this photograph card, this camera card, and I take a picture of a giraffe. Of course, only when you can take a picture of the giraffe. So I take a picture, what happens? The camera goes away to the discard pile, and I score points. How many points? Well, I see how many cards there are on the stack of that animal. So in this case 2. That means I score the 1 and the first and the second token. So I score the 1 and the 2. I put them in front of me, face down. So after a while, players won't or may not know which points you still have. Okay, so that's scoring points. So how the more animals of a certain type there are on the stack here, the more points you could score. But if another player, or if you are on another giraffe space and you want to take a picture again, you cannot take a picture or you cannot score points as long as there are only 2 giraffes on that spot, because you need a third one to score more points. So, for example, later in the game, someone has put 1 more on it, or maybe 2 more. So next time I'm on the giraffe space, let's say I'm here on the giraffe space, and I take a picture, I score 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 and 2 are already gone, so I scored 3 and 4, and I put it in front of me. Or if another player scores them, they put it in front of them. So that's the way the scoring goes. So the more cards there are here, the more points there can be earned. Okay, that's taking pictures. And of course, as soon as I've taken a picture, I did not move, so I move 1 immediately and I activate. In this case, I would activate the cheetah card or the cheetah rule. Okay, what didn't I mention yet? Well, I think I mentioned almost everything. There's also one thing. I'm using this dude from Rhino Hero for that at this moment, but actually it's an elephant that is in this case. So this guy starts. Well, it should be another token in the future. Here at the last elephant spot, and there are elephants which, whenever they are activated, which are going to move this stampede of elephants, and if it ever hits one of the players, something happens. Now players can choose to move past it without any problems. They can take a turn around or to avoid them, but if they are hit, well, something happens. You are allowed to give me any hints or any ideas of which effect this should have. I'm not sure yet, but well, I'm thinking about that. So that's something that's happening on the board as well. And well, that's about it. So okay, this is Photo Safari, the first draft of this game. I hope the idea is a little bit clear. So it's a racing game, kind of basic layout. Of course, when I make the real game or a better prototype, it would be more beautiful with more colors, not a black board, of course. But the main idea is you're trying to move, you're trying to put down new rules for certain animals which would be advantage to you or a disadvantage to your opponents. You try to take pictures at the right moment. You can try to, because there are less camera cards in the deck as there are animal cards or jeep cards. I will not call them jeep cards. I know I should not use brand, but car cards, something like that. And so you might want to keep hold of some camera cards and try to wait until there's a great chance of scoring many tokens of one animal. And well, during the game, all these rules change. If you plan an action with the high numbers and someone changes a rule right before your card gets activated, you might get screwed a little bit, or you might get lucky and it might be even better than the card than the initial idea you had. So that's the main idea of this game. So the game continues until one player reaches base camp. Again, each player finishes their turn if they still have a card to activate. So each player does that, and then they score points. So the player who reached base camp, they get 10 bonus points, and well, depending on how close you are to base camp, you might score some bonus points as well. And then you just add up all the point tokens you scored, and well, player with the most points is the winner. What kind of problems do I have at this moment with this game? I think the idea is okay. I really believe this can be quite fun, this game. So I really want to pursue this idea. I have a few issues. First issue I'm having is with the movement. I tried this once with just play movement, where each player can play their cars and you can end on whatever space you can end. You can have as many players on one space as you like. In that case, I had quite of a runaway leader who also managed to score some points. So I'm not sure if that's completely balanced. Normally it should be balanced, of course. So I have to try that a little bit more. I also tried once with the idea of not being allowed to have two players on the same space, and just when you land on a space with a player already on it, you just move one space further. It adds some randomness, some chaos to it, because you're not really sure if the space you are planning to go to will be free, so you might land on a different space as you planned. That was good, but the only negative it had was that I got this situation where I had 4 cars behind each other throughout the whole game. So there were no differences in distance. There was no one a little bit behind to try to who should try to play more jeep cards to gain a little bit, or there was no runaway leader who was maybe in need to hold back because they weren't taking enough points because of taking pictures. So that's something that was a little bit difficult about that. So I like that chaos a little bit, not knowing if the space you're going to is free or not, but it had this really big disadvantage of having a train, which made the race really unexcited. The other thing that my biggest problem maybe is, as I already told you with the one giraffe card, I have many cards that have no rules yet because I ran out of ideas of rules. So this is my demand. No, not my demand. I'm not finding the right word, but if you have any ideas of great rules I can put into this game, maybe a little bit thematic with the animal. So for example, I have these monkeys. These monkey cards often give their spaces abilities in which you can have to discard a card at random, or people have to give cards to each other, or point tokens. So they mess with you, they're a little bit sneaky. I have these cheetah cards which give rules which allow you to move more. I have the hippo because they are quite dangerous animal. There are some rules about the hippo that can attack you, where you have to discard point tokens or something like that. But I need more. So if you have any great ideas of rules for spaces when you land on a space, or an active global rule that happens, for example, there is this cheetah which gives every jeep +1, so +1 movement. There is this hippo which makes every jeep just move 2, and all the speed above is negated. So if you have any ideas, please let me know. Put them in the comments below. I'm thinking about new rules all the time for these cards. There are some rules I'm not completely happy about, so I want to change them as well. So I need many more ideas. So if you have any ideas, please let them know. If you have any questions about this design idea, if you have any concerns, if you have any great ideas, well, please let me know. And I hope in the next episode of this design diary I will have more to show you, and maybe after a while we can make this a real fun game. So thank you all for watching this design diary episode number 3. Feel free to give me more ideas or more hints for my soccer game, and feel very free to comment below about this one, about these videos. Go watch my other videos if you like. So feel free to subscribe to my channel, or meet me on Twitter. I'm quite active on Twitter. I'm there at Vitruvian Gamer. That's VET, not VIT. And well, please follow me everywhere where you can find me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys and girls in the future. See you. Bye bye.